in color, the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Tonight, Elliot Carson must face the possible loss of his second child. The discovery that his baby son Matthew is missing from his crib is overwhelming. Both Elliot and his wife Constance have shared a sense that Matthew was their second chance. They've determined never to fail him, as both feel they failed his older sister Allison. Rachel Wells knew this, and Rachel Wells had to take advantage of it.
Connie!
Rachel,
Matthew isn't in his crib.
What?
I thought he was with Rachel, you know, that he cried out and she'd taken him into bed with her, but Rachel isn't there either.
Did you look downstairs?
No, I didn't.
Oh, she could have taken him down to warm a bottle, taken him with her. Oh.
There's a hope, anyway.
There were 5. Rachel made Matthew 5 bottles this evening. 3 of them are gone. Oh, how could it happen? We were here. How could Chandler break in and take away Matthew and Rachel without making a sound? We should have heard something.
I don't know. Shutters banging in the nursery is what woke me up. Must have been just after I fell asleep. Found one of the windows wide open.
Why didn't Rachel call? Why didn't she cry out? You know, Rachel loves Matthew. She wouldn't let Chandler take him away, at least without a struggle.
Well, he's done what he said he'd do. When Chandler was in the hospital, he threatened that he'd get back at us. And he's done it. Except he couldn't have done it alone. Not unless Rachel helped him. That's the only explanation. He had her help.
Thanks for walking me home.
You know, it seems to me I spend half my life taking keys out of pretty girls' hands and opening the door for them. I don't see Stephen's car. Looks like you made it under the wire. Let's score one for our team.
We're not a team.
Why do you stay with him, Betty? Are you afraid to admit another failure?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, that's all I was going to say. I wasn't leading to anything.
Hi.
Hi.
I was getting concerned.
Oh, I thought I'd be home long before you.
You know, I should enter the Grand Prix. Basic principles of racing, he said pompously, is consistency on the accelerator. What I'm trying to say is I drove fast all the way back from Boston.
I went to the movies. I got restless sitting here alone.
So you bought a ticket, a bag of popcorn, pretended I was holding your hand. How was the show?
Oh, nothing much. It was just a way of passing the time. If I'd known you'd be here, When did you get in?
A short time before you did.
I didn't see your car.
Well, now, if I didn't want you to know what time I came in, where would I put it? In the garage. And if I didn't want Grandfather to know what time I'd come in, I'd do the same thing. So as far as the old man's concerned, we could have spent the whole evening at the movies together.
Shall we go upstairs?
You're a remarkable woman.
Oh?
You know, I've spent most of the day trailing my grandfather all over Boston. And you don't ask me how I finally caught up with him?
I assumed if you had, you'd tell me.
And if I hadn't, you didn't want to embarrass me, huh? My thoughtful wife. Well, I did finally, but it took a bit of doing. So I started checking all Grandfather's favorite haunts. The Mayberry Club, the Swan Room, the Alcott Room. Didn't have any luck. So then I thought of the Boston Clinic. So just to play it safe, I left the car downtown and took a cab to the clinic. Guess whose shiny limousine was standing in front of the no parking sign at the main entrance, huh?
You must have gone for a checkup.
Well, that's the logical assumption, but you're dead wrong. When Grandfather came out, he wasn't alone. He was with a woman. A young woman. I was in the cab, and I couldn't see her face, but by the way she walked, I'd say she was almost 30.
She could have been a nurse.
Seeing him to his car? Mm-mm. They both got in.
But she still could have.
I assure you their relationship was anything but professional.
Stephen.
Hear me out. When Weber drove off with Grandfather and a young lady in the back seat, I said to my cabbie in the best detective tradition, follow that car. I really did. Second stop. Want to guess? The auction gallery. Barron Brothers. Same routine. Weber pulls up in front of the no parking sign. We wait back by the corner. They get out, they go in. 10 minutes later, they come back, get in the limousine and drive off. I repeated the instructions to the cab driver and upped the original ante from 10 to 20 over the fare. And we tailed them at a safe distance. You know, by now, my cabbie was becoming an old China hand at this game.
Stephen. That bracelet watch, it could have been for her.
And he went to a great deal of trouble to deliver it.
Well, when you followed them from,
The auction gallery to the Monarch Theater.
a movie theater?
A movie theater. Limousine pulls up, they get out, it takes off. Grandfather and his young lady friend disappear into the theater. You know, I was almost tempted to buy a ticket and follow them inside. But I decided to safely leave the rest of it to my imagination. Can you imagine Martin Peyton holding hands with some young lady love in a movie theater, huh? You haven't answered me.
It's been a long day.
Too long.
Nothing. I couldn't find a thing. Of course, we'll check further in the morning, but I don't think we'll turn up.
You didn't find anything at all underneath the nursery window?
There was nothing. I checked the ground very carefully. If Chandler got in that way, he's more of a magician than a... I just don't see how he could have.
Do you think Rachel could have taken Matthew by herself?
I don't know.
Don't know.
But she wouldn't do that. She couldn't. She loves him too much. Oh, Elliot, I just can't take much more.
Listen, baby. I'll get a hold of Mike. He'll come over and give you a sedative.
Oh, no, I'll be all right. I want to be awake in case I'm needed.
I'd like to go over some things with you again, Mr. Carson.
Yes, of course.
You want to tape the window upstairs? I'd like you to tell me exactly what happened, Mr. Carson, before you found the empty crib.
Well, I hadn't been asleep very long, and I was awakened by a noise. It was one of the shutters in the nursery banging against the window.
Was the window open?
Yes, it was wide open.
Was anything disturbed upstairs? When I was up there, I noticed
No, it was just the way you found it. That's the way it was.
Then you went to the girls' room?
Yes, I went into Rachel's room, and then I called my wife.
Rachel's bed was made, you said. You didn't disturb anything in there either.
No, I didn't.
In other words, she hadn't been asleep. Does she usually stay up that late?
No, she was still quite upset.
From last night. That was a rough experience for her. I suppose you spent most of the day with her.
But we didn't. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't let us near her. My wife talked to her for a while, and then she locked the door to her bedroom. She didn't even come down for dinner.
Well, she did come down later, Elliot.
She did?
I heard her in the kitchen fixing Matthew's bottles. She usually does that in the morning, but I just figured maybe she was getting over her depression.
You say she usually prepares the bottles in the morning?
Yes, but 3 of those bottles are missing from the refrigerator.
Do you think she planned it? Deliberately?
She hadn't slept in her bed. You didn't hear anything, any sign of a struggle. There's no trace of a third party outside.
Oh, please. Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Carson. This is me. This is
Rachel. Where are you? Where's Matthew?
Extension.
Yeah, in the hall.
I can't tell you. I don't know. He won't tell me where he's taking us. He won't.
Rachel, where are you? Where are you calling from? Tell me.
I can't talk anymore, Mrs. Carson. Hello, Matthew. I'm back. It's all right. Yes, it's all right. Did you miss me? Yes. Are you hungry? Yes, I'm going to take good care of you. Yes, I am. I'm going to take good care of you. Oh, there. Let's have something to eat. Hmm?